You're first up.
I am. I do have a voice that projects, but I will use the mic. I have some notes from our Oceans 11's teacher, Jonathan Cumminger, who was a big part of this, actually the liaison between the project leads and our students' learning. And he sent some notes along. And he says that he's happy to report that the involvement in the Healthy Coast through Oceans 11's class, they've been involved with the project since the very beginning. As a matter of fact, I offered our school site to host all, if not most, of the meetings as a central hub, which is extremely important to me. The project has included looking at data that has been provided through the monitoring systems at the Watt Section Beach, which is directly in front of our beautiful church. So looking at data, as well as a field trip with other members of the project, introduce students to the beach research and site data gathering. Sorry. Our students are also involved in gathering weather data, focusing on precipitation and monitoring that. Moving forward, we're excited to continue our partnership with the project and allowing students to gain firsthand experience with scientific research and oceanic research, all of which is important. I see it through a different lens as a school leader, and the opportunity that we've been given to take learning outside of the four walls of the classroom, to provide learning experiences beyond the prescribed curriculum and expectations of what we all think about when we hear classroom, sitting in rows, looking forward, writing notes. Instead of that, they're doing, and that's maintaining and increasing their opportunities and their learning. Yeah, the other piece is that thanks to Mike, us being part of the project from the beginning, and through us to our students, we're actually giving our future leaders, I think of them as future leaders, my students, opportunity to be both the eyes, ears, but also the voice of their own environment moving forward, which is an incredible opportunity and an important one. The final thing I'll say, one message that I continually bring, and I've tried to bring to Chief Harbor since I've been posted back again, is the importance of collaboration. And that's not like minds meeting together and discussing how great we are, rather having voices from all stakeholders in the community, all sharing their values, their knowledge, their wisdom, and all of us benefiting from that. This is a rarity that I've found in today's world, which is so fast paced and disconnected, but connected in other ways. I think this opportunity proves the adage that together we can. So I thank you for your involvement, and I look forward to future involvement. So thank you, everyone.
I'm just going to take a second and see if I can see how many people are waiting or if anybody's waiting to get on. Nope. Okay, so
Is my heart good? To see Aaron up there. We go back a long way. And I've known Aaron as a teacher for many years. Aaron growing up in the community of Chief Harbor. I've had the pleasure to Aaron from Mount St. Vincent University, as he saw the need for administrators in rural communities who know the communities, and along with knowing the community and growing up in the community. It's a blessing, and I won't say a curse, but it is a challenge. A wonderful educator, and being such an important role within the community, teaching our future and introducing our future to the challenges that are out there. I spent a little time last night reflecting on what I wanted to share with you, and so please bear with me. Jesus once said to his disciples, "Blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear." And Jesus was instructing his followers that to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, it was necessary to develop the ability to see things and to hear things in a new light. When I received the invitation from Reverend Marion to involve the parish of Port Dufferin in a healthy coastline research project, it sounded exciting to me and very much in step with one of our mission goals to treasure, to safeguard the integrity of the earth, and to sustain and renew our Mother Earth. When I was informed that our parish would become a leader in coastal ecosystems protection and climate change, and that members of our communities would not only become citizen scientists and identify environmental and climate-related threats, but also develop and adapt tools of disaster preparedness and prevention, my heart said yes. But in all truthfulness, I had no idea what that meant or what would be involved in the beginning. I had neither the eyes to see the possibilities nor the ears to hear the stories about the impact of climate change that I had heard over the years. In the ensuing months, that all changed. At an open house event at St. Mary's Anglican Church in Harrigan Cove, there was a celebration of the reconstruction of St. Mary's that had been severely damaged in a hurricane, in the most recent hurricane. Through community and diocesan support, the structural damage that was done to the building by the severe winds was fixed. There was an open house to celebrate our staying alive. I recall two fishermen from a neighboring community dropping in to the open house, and we fell into conversation. I had never met these two fishers before, but we came to know each other by the rural tradition of asking, who were your parents and where are you from? They shared with me how their lives as fishers in a generation family enterprise was dramatically changing. The fishing stocks were getting smaller in number and in size. The mackerel were getting smaller. And now they had to travel to Sherbrooke to catch a smelt through the ice. And the smelts were getting smaller. About how both food sufficiency was becoming a growing issue in our communities, and how the success of our fishing industry and food sufficiency go hand in hand. Our beautiful beaches are disappearing on the Eastern Shore.
Why?
And I was invited to witness on Sober Island, where St. Margaret's Anglican Church stands, a view firsthand. I was escorted by the community by one of my parishioners, Murray, who's at the back. And we did the tour on our bikes. I met a resident there who lived near a beach, and he lamented how the sand on the beach was washing up in his backyard. I was hearing the story with new ears, and I was seeing the deterioration of the coastline with new eyes. Then I was invited to join the Ocean's 11 class at Marine Drive Academy and participate in their field trip with Patricia, and to observe the students examining a small section of the beach adjacent to St. Andrew's Anglican Church. They recorded the plant life. They observed the erosion of the beach, the weathering of the rocks and the sand. The students shared their observations, and I heard their stories through their eyes. I am now understanding better, in a new light, the impact of climate change and the benefits of maintaining healthy coastlines. I have been gifted a glimpse into the future and a call to action. This morning, you will have the opportunity to hear the stories of citizen scientists who are developing or who have already developed the eyes to see and the ears to hear. I liken this to hearing the voices from the wilderness, accentuating the importance of paying attention to the dangers that currently are impacting the future of our communities. The truth about it, and the peril of seeing and hearing it with fresh eyes and attuned ears. Perhaps the greatest change I am experiencing in the parish of Port Dufferin is the stronger relationship between the church and the communities. A new view to mission and the need to work collaboratively in our communities. It is more experimental, risk-taking, and a communal relationship of working alongside the people with a shared goal. Together, I feel we are developing the eyes to see and the ears to hear. For me personally, it is a reawakening and a sense of rebirth and hope for the future of coastal communities.
They can't go away. There, I can. Okay, I'll check those. I'll check them as Milo gets ready to speak, but I think hold 1 second. Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Nice note.
It's the shot here. Okay. I see. Oh, you can read it from here. Oh, that's just the agenda. Oh, send it to Milo.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we are on the speakers. Okay, the camera on the speakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
mute their mics.
Okay. All right.
I asked them already. Maybe you might want to do it manually from there, Camilo.
Oh, okay.
Like just, yeah, scroll up and.
Yep.
Mute all, yeah. Does that mute me too?
No.
Okay, as long as I'm not muted, they need to hear me. Okay. There. Now, after that short break, I would like to introduce Camilo, our researcher. He has so much to offer and so much to tell us and teach us.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. I will need to move because I need to move also to the screen. So let's change the accent. Thank you everyone to stay here. I think we are very, very happy to have full room. It's not really easy because I discovered I came to Canada 2 years ago, more or less. And I was living in Dartmouth, later in Halifax. Now I discovered that Cheat Harbor looks that is so far from Halifax. Every time I say to somebody, okay, come to Cheat Harbor, say, oh, Cheat Harbor, I'm not sure if I can get it. And I said, okay, but Brian, I'm very happy that Brian is here. He comes from farther. He comes from Port Bickerton. And this is just halfway to my home in Dover, near to Kansas. So it's not so far, Cheat Harbor at the end. Kansas is quite far than here. So I'm very happy that we are here in a full room. I just want to explain you a little more about, as you might say, that what was exactly this idea about a project related with healthy coastlines, about citizen science. What really citizen science is not. It's not. I have to say that Kate and Ian will testimony exactly. There is not any consensus in the scientific community about citizen scientists. Citizen science is still a conversation. There are some scientists that believe that this could be a real science. The others say, no, it could be complementary. But I think this is the way that science is. It's just that we are evolving. So today, I want just to show you what we did until today. 30th November is our last day of this project with the Anglican Church, with the body of the Anglican Church. So we will continue working together. Tomorrow will be the first day in which from that house we will be leading the project. So this was nice. That was the 30th of November was just Saturday, perfect day for doing this change. So what is exactly the project? I don't know how we will move from here in a second. Okay. Well, I don't know how to move in this computer. Maybe here.
You might have to stop sharing for a second.
And share again.
And then guess you need to go here.
Yeah.
Okay, and so let's see, maybe we can start sharing again now.
No, it's
No.
online. It's an application called Gamma. So it's just online. Yeah, I tried. No, but maybe now that is the new sharing.
There. Now we're sharing, you might be
Yeah.
able to.
Okay. I think we were here, not we are in Zoom now. We are
Oh, that's the wrong one.
this one.
This
Okay.
one.
Yeah, okay. So I tried to go there.
There.
Ooh.
Okay.
Technical issues always.
Yeah, technical issues. Maybe we're going to have to. Oh, down here. Let me see it for a second. That's screen sharing, and so we can't just. I think it's probably because it's online.
There's another way. Second,
Okay.
we just go here, exit the presentation, and just go directly from here. Okay. No, I can't go from
Okay.
No, it's not as beautiful as before, but it's the information that is what is important. Which were the aims of this project? Which are the aims? Now, today we are finished this part of the project. The first, as the bishop said, and also Reverend Mike, the first thing is something that for me was really beautiful to know about this idea that nature is a creation of God. So a good Christian should take care of nature. It's as simple as that. It could be more complicated to explain it, but for me, it's as simple as that. I think this is beautiful. This is great because it makes the idea that we should take care of nature if we are a good Christian. So this is the first aim, just to spread the voice about this message. In the Anglican Church, they call it the fifth mark mission. But this is, at the end, I think it's not about the Anglican Church, it's about to be Christian. The second aim was to connect with local communities on the Eastern Shore. My favorite new question to everyone in Nova Scotia is, from where to where is the Eastern Shore from you? And I really want to record the answers and do a real research, and publish a paper about that, because the answers are amazing. Just 3 examples. In Halifax, the people say the Eastern Shore go until Cold Harbor, Lawrencetown's beach. You are, so adventurous. Here, when I ask here in Chill Harbor, say, okay, of course, from Cold Harbor to Chill Harbor. And at the beginning of this week, the Monday, I was speaking with the fire department chief in council, and I asked to him, I say, easy from Chill Harbor to council. So at the end, exactly which are the borders of the Eastern Shore. For me and in the project, it's quite easy for me because I know from Nova Scotia, so I can decide which is my favorite border. So for me, it's from McNabb's Island in the Eastern Passage, Dartmouth, to Council Causeway, because there we will change to the Northumberland Shore. So this is the Eastern Shore. So one of the aims of our project was to connect with local communities on the Eastern Shore. I have been in many meetings. We were in Port Bickerton. Yes, we want to involve Port Bickerton, the Lighthouse Society, and we have a conversation in which we recognize that the Eastern Shore, and now I almost have data about that, is the area with less attention historically in the last century on the province. Here is that really we don't have, in Guysborough, which I'm living, we are the only county without post-secondary school. The only county in Nova Scotia without post-secondary school. So all the young people, they need to, when they finish the high school, they need to go to another place. And it's very difficult that they go back home, for living there. So this now is a situation. I have, my phone is Rogers, big mistake. Now I cannot communicate, Brian. No, I cannot communicate with anyone because there is no Roger connection on the Eastern Shore. So this is a region in West Scotia that I think we should pay a little more attention on what's happening here. But we need to do bottom up. This is one part of my research approach. We need to do bottom up. It's not going to Ottawa and say, please pay more attention to the Atlantic, to the Nova Scotia, to the Halifax. No. Up north, not east, there. No. I think it's better if we go bottom up from here. We start to say, okay, we need to empower ourselves, and the people will know that we are here, and will be in the way that we want. That will be our voice to decide what's happening in the future. And I think this is not working, but here, and of course, I'm scientists at the end, I'm researchers, so increase standardized data. I will show you later a little about the results, but just some spoilers. From Muscogee Harbor to Council, there are 2 weather stations of Weather Canada. That's all. This is all the weather information that we have. Just check that this is for the rest of the day. Just check how many weather stations are in the South Shore or are in the Bay of Fundy. Big difference, really. So we need to obtain more data, but it's not any kind of data. We need standardized data. So this was part of the aims of our project. Very briefly, which was the scope? So it was citizen science of the first thing. A coastal monitoring, because it's not to monitor everything. As Marian say, I'm passionate for the healthy coastline, for the coast at the end. I love it when Portia Clark from CBC called me beach scholar. I say, wow, sounds nice. Yeah, the beach is my office, so I really want to do something for the coast. But it will be also policy oriented. I'm working in beach management during 20 years, I think it's important to do things, but it's important too that this data, these efforts, change something in the reality. You know, I'm researching, I need to publish papers, but just to publish the paper is not enough to change. So these need to be policy oriented, and of course, climate related. Even if you think that the climate change is real or is not real, I know what is real. Fiona, it was real. Juan, it was real. Last Saturday, I don't remember, I think it was Jonathan and also I think Robin, and sent in our Telegram group. Do you remember, Robin, how high was the rain last Saturday? You say 60 millimeters. But now we know, because there is there you can see later when we have the round table, you can see there our rain gauges, totally manual. But because we have these rain gauges, now we know that was this big rain 1 week ago. So it's about the climate related events, even with the climate change or not. We know that there are some climate related events that we need to learn a little more and to be better prepared. Very briefly about the geographical coverage. As you know, the project is based in the Port Dufferin parish, but the scope is the whole Eastern Shore, from McNabbs to Council Causeway. Now we are starting here, but then we have some stations here in Chill Harbor. We have 4 coastal sites, and two in Guidebrook County, will be 3 the next year. We hope very soon to have Port Bickerton. It's a very nice beach there, and an amazing. I really recommend to anyone. Please, in summer, if you have never been in Port Bickerton in the lighthouse, go. It's my favorite place on the Eastern Shore. We're going for visiting. It's amazing there. So the idea that we want to continue in the next 3 years, and just a spoiler, will be at the end of the today, but we want to cover the whole Eastern Shore. And just to give this presentation is online, so you can access. We can send you later. We will send you the link so you can access the presentation. And here, this is a map where are our coastal stations, the coastal sites, everything. And this map will be updated each time we have a new coastal site. What we did, okay, training the local coastal monitoring teams. What we did is, first we have some we call a launch and learn with experts. We have 4 activities. One with a guest speaker from Argentina. Second one from Ontario with the Coast Ridge project from the University of Waterloo. Later was an in-person activity with Jim Abraham. He is a meteorologist, and he was here explaining us about the rain gauges, and this is why we are connected with the Coco Rush project. And in July, we have a guest speaker from Melanesia, Freda, that she is now connected with. So I'm very happy that she is connected now. So this was the first one, to know what there are other people doing about citizen science around the world. That is not that we are inventing something. It already exists. In Argentina, they have more than 10 years of experience, 44 communities connected in the network. So we just wanted to show. Later was some in-person sessions, also some remote sessions with the Telegram app, and finally hands-on practice. And you will know about that later in the roundtable. What are we now from this year? What we were able to start monitoring? Initially, the beach profile. Beach profile is by far the most important parameter if you want to know about if it's erosion or not. You can do everything, but the beach profile will give you exactly which is the difference in centimeters in both axes, horizontal and vertical. But also, if you have enough profiles, you also can measure the volume of sand that you have on the beach. But normally, it costs a lot if you do in the fancy way. You know, if you have a digital GPS or RTK, or maybe with a drone. But also, you could have I forgot I say to Robin, I wanted to ask to Robin, you can bring your beach profiler just to show to everybody, but okay, next time. But we have a beach profiler that is part of I knew from a paper in the 2008, was the University of Delaware. They published a paper that they scored single user subaerial beach profile. And it's the only beach profiler, at least that I know, that just one person can measure the beach profile. And I'm doing it in Black Dog Cove just by myself. And it works perfectly. Also, I did a research 3 years ago with a student comparing 15 different beach profile methods. And this was the best. Accuracy, centimetrical, $150 cost to build it. Just one person can use it. And it's very easy to learn how to use it. So we are now measuring the beach profiles. And here later, Stuart, Robin, Leon, and Murray will explain you about how it works because they are doing just now. Also, the coastline evolution. This was with the university. We are working with the University of Waterloo. There is a worldwide project called Coastline. It's that simple as you go to the beach. There is a stand. You take a picture and you upload with a QR code, and it goes to some scientists. There are many. I think there are maybe more than 100 groups around the world working with this big project. And with this picture that anybody could take, we are analyzing how the coastline is moving. It's something that is very easy to do it and very powerful. Also, the biota, we are starting with the flora only. We have an app that is called PlantNet, in which you take the picture of the plant, will be the leaves, the flowers, the fruits, and with AI, will analyze the pictures and will give you the different options of the species, and you confirm which species it is or not. Just a funny information. I made a very quick research about, because I really want to know which species we have here and to confirm in the app. I didn't find a single paper, book, the book chapter, newsletter, anything that say which are the species that we have on the beaches on the Eastern Shore. So we really don't know. There's a big gap of information there. So now we are starting to have some information. We hope that in next year we will accurate more, because I said at the beginning that one of the aims to standardize data. So now we don't know that this is exactly the species we think. Robin is very good about the flora. I was surprised with his folder about all the information that he had from previous observation. But this is something that we are creating just now. And of course, weather conditions. We have weather stations. We provide some weather station with the project. We have some budget to that. I bring just the box so you can check which kind of weather station. I was thinking to bring my weather station from my home. I said, too much work, maybe I will damage the weather station. I just bring the box, so you know which is the weather station that is real. But we have one weather station in Stuart House, in Robin House, in Leon House, in Morris House, all of them, and also I have one in my house. So now we are collecting information, and now we're working with the Argentinian partners because they have some script and they are helping us, because we need to download this data. We really want to analyze this data. It's not just to have the weather station. And also we have these rain gauges from the COCORUSH, that means Collaborative Community Rain and Hail Snow Project. This is a project that started on the US. Now it's in Canada, thanks to Jim Abraham, and in Barbados. And it's something very simple, but they will explain you later. What we'll do later, I will tell you after the roundtable. Just to show our team members, this was, you have been there in the Slippery Oyster. This is my favorite part of the Slippery Oyster. I have the picture, but I like the picture because, of course, for the people, we are there and very nice. But the place, this is corner in the Slippery Oyster, I love it. Really. But it was one of our meetings, just to show you our meeting. You will see it there, very familiar faces, all of them are here. Okay, week 3. This is the first stage, the project. So we did the engagement, the training, the monitoring, data validation, and reporting and communication. We are doing just that. now. And the second stage will be from 2025, really from tomorrow, the 1st December, 2025 to 2028 at least. Because we are part, and this is why Ian and Kate is here also, and really appreciate that you drive here. Because we are part of a huge, I don't like to say project, because we have large research project and we have small projects. So I prefer to call it a program. This is the Transforming Climate Action Program. And we are just a small part of this big project, a big program, we call the Transect project. And in the Transect project there are different case studies. And one of the case studies here, the Eastern Shore, which we are working about risk governance. We want to research, we want to study how to improve the risk governance here on the Eastern Shore from bottom up, with the citizen science, with the community, how we can improve so we will be better prepared for any climate-related event from the community base. But I will tell you about that later, because, okay, it's almost 11. Which are the outcomes and impact of the project? Okay, in general, there are some social outcomes that are already told us about these social outcomes. The environmental outcomes are very, I think, quite clear to understand. Imagine just about the flora. We have some invasive species that are colonizing almost all beaches. Like we don't have any information which are the right species, the native species. How can we know which are the invasive and try to control these invasive species? So the environmental outcomes, I think, clear. But the institutional outcome, I think here I'm very happy that is the Ecology Action Center, the Dinnery Project, is the Port Victor Lighthouse, so Lions Club. Brian has so many hats. I'm very happy because now we are also giving more institutional support to this activity. This was also one of the ideas. And of course, community preparedness. I'm sure that now when it starts raining, all of our citizen scientists, they are better prepared because they knew what was, and they know what to do in case there is a big rain, for example. Just the engagement activities that we did this year. We have some meeting with the parish, also here in Cheat Harbor and in Guysborough, because also I'm happy that I think Mary Fitzgerald and Susan Slater, they are connected, they are on Zoom, they are in Guysborough. Mary is one of our citizen scientists. I'm really happy when I go to measure the profile of her beach, because I think it's very nice to stay with her, to speak about what's happening. She lives just in front of the coast. I think it's amazing. And she's part of the parish there. We also did some meetings on the school, as Aaron Prius told us. We started really the project here on the school. And of course, some public engagement events, especially these 4 Launch and Learns with the SUPAC project in Argentina. Come on. Okay, the SUPAC project in Argentina, the Corfrey project in Ontario, the Coco Rush project I told you before, and the environmental observatories in Melanesia. You can see there, just for a small project, within the Anglican shores and their housing. I think it's quite an achievement that at least we reached to connect our project with many colleagues outside the Eastern Shore. This is just to show you that we did some training activities. The big characterization was in June. In July, I was here. Also, we were working about the weather station, studying the weather station. It was a big challenge. I remember in Leon's house with the steward, with something that was not working, changed the batteries. And later, Leon decided to move the weather station and the rain gauge to the other side of the road. And I'm very proud that that was just Leon and Stuart. They did that by themselves, So it means that really you can do it. It's not that you always need somebody that go there to help you. I think they are perfectly trained to show to anybody how to do it. The flora identification, we were working on that at the end of July. It was when we have more flowers to take pictures. When you want to identify, I'm not biologist, but I know that you want to identify a plant, the flower is the best. If you're not able to take a picture of the flower, okay, take a picture of the fruits. If not the fruit, the leaves and the bark. But so the best time to know which species are is when you have the flowers. And the beach profile was in August, just finishing the summer. But we continue measuring yesterday, as Leon told me that yesterday, Leon and Stuart, they were in their coastal sites measuring the beach profile. Just some pictures here. This is we have here in Chill Harbor 4 coastal sites. The first site is in just in front of St. Andrews Church. It's called the St. Andrews Loop. There is a very, very nice bar that is not really a sandbar. It looks like a sandbar, but really there's more a mix of mud and gravel. It's very interesting. I think it's not really a bar. It's a bar what is emerged, but if we have 1 meter, we imagine that we have a low tide that is 1 meter below. I think would be like in Spain they call it madraba. That is something that is like close, like a pool. Imagine it's very interesting there. But now we will have there coast range post in which the people will take picture there. And I think in 1 or 2 years we will have a lot more information about this bar. And Jonathan, he's the teacher at the Ocean 11 on the school. He is the leader of this place, and with Risha, they are going there with the kids, with the Ocean 11 student, and they are learning and also doing some science. The second is the Causeway Beach. We have a quite nice discussion about what is the name of the beach. It's in Sober Island, and this beach, it doesn't really have a name. There are some, and because there is a seawall there is a beach there, but really it should be a flooding area. It should be, they divided sometimes the island, Sober Island, 2 islands. But now it is seawall, so now we have the beach. This is in which is Robin is the leader, and he has a great and a huge team. Every day there is someone new in his team, but this is because he is the incubator of a new site that we want to have in Sprite Bay, I think it is. Will be the new one, and also in Taylorhead, yeah, there will be a new, we hope in the spring, we will have a new coastal site there. So the Robin is the trainer in this case for this new site. And it's also Murray there, because also Murray is living in the Sober Island, very close to St. Margaret's church. I can say that they are connected to the Sober Island, this side. Now we have the Causeway Beach because there are not too many beaches, very sandy beaches there. But it's about Sober Island. I think that we could call Sober Island. There are other 2 places. The other is the Turner Island, just in front of Leon's house. It's a small and very nice beach that's created because there is not really a bridge, it's more a causeway, but it creates a small beach. But it's nice to have some information about what's happening inside this bay. This is in Harrigan Cove. So I think it's very useful for us to have this information. And what is more important is that Leon is living just 50 meters to the beach. So anything that change will be Leon there just paying attention and make observation. And the last point is the Moosehead Beach. And I think this is the longest and the most sandy beach that we have until now here in Chill Harbor. This is a very nice this beach. There you can see here, there is a Stuart when he was doing the training about to measure the beach profile. And there we will have the second coast bridge post. And this sign that you see there will be installed. I agree with Stuart. I don't want to come here just I start installing signs that okay, I don't care about transport of Scotia. I will just decide which sign will be on the road now. But we want to attract the attention of the people because we discovered with Stuart that many people stop in this beach because it just went on the road. And you can see here maybe there. This is the road and this is the beach. So the people used to stop there, especially in summer, stop there, take 4 pictures and continue. And they never knew not even the name of the beach and what's happening on the beach. So we start in this part. This is why I include the picture. Okay, here in this part will be the coast bridge post, because it needs to be from one side so you can measure the coastline change. So there will be two of these signs that are in the at back, but also from one, and it's very nice because beaches, of course, there it's not possible a beach and on a hill, you know, it would go down. So will be there are two hills for this beach, so will be one hill on the one side, one hill on the other side. This sign that say, "Attention, attention, citizen scientists, turn right in 500 meters," and you are driving. Means that, and later will be turn left and take a photo. What's that? I just want to stop and know what's happening, and the people will be attracted. Oh, with our sign, they will take the picture. And yeah, we do it now. We have the picture. We have the information. The only thing that we don't have is the internet connection, so they cannot send the picture from there. There are not any connection there, you know. So they will need to send later, but at least they will have the signs. This is why we printed and we want to show it. And also in this beach, you can later you can read the signs. In this beach, very close to the beach, and the owner of the beach, the owner of the property in front of the beach, Mary Lou, she's amazing. I love to speak with her. She's amazing. And she told me about the history about the beach and what is the name, etc. It's all the story there. So I just invite you to learn about the story. That's amazing. Just to finish, we have some monitoring results. I don't want to bother you with that. Just that you know, here are, for example, the example of the beach profiles. This is in San Andrews Beach, San Andrews. From the church, they are, oh, not too fast. I know I'm late, but not too fast. Here are from Turner Island on Leon's coastal side, Moosehead Beach, Stewart side. So you can see there the difference between the three different months with the data that we have there. So here, especially we can see here how was here, you know, and here is more straight. So this is the thing that we will know in 1 year. We will have more data, and we will know really how it's changing the beach. And the idea that we will have 3 profiles in each beach, so we can see also when the sun is moving to one side to another. Because sometimes we say, no, it's erosion, it's not really erosion. Is that maybe in this point it's erosion, but the sun is didn't go to anywhere, just one side of the beach. So you just need to know which is the seasonal changes. So this is part of the idea. About the beach flora, because it's in PlanNet, you can see here the observation. So these are the observations of Jonathan, the Robin, Leon, Stuart, all of them are public. So anyone on the world, especially biologists, they can know what we have, so we can increase to have more science. You know, the Coco Rush. This is the map that I take on Wednesday when I was preparing the presentation. This is the here. Where is it? This is the map here, but this is the Eastern Shore, and this is Field Harbor, and these are the observations from the last Saturday. So you can see it was exactly how was the rain, and there are the observation from Stuart, from Robin, from Moray, from Leon. There are our observations. They're online, so anyone can access them. And finally, the coastal weather. This is underground, because one thing that is very important about the weather stations is that they need to be connected to a cloud service, because it's good for you. You just want to have your data, but if you want to share, to do science, we need to have access to this data. So the weather station need to be connected to a cloud service. There are many. We are connected to underground and to weather cloud, but mainly to underground. So you can access this data directly through underground. There are the different stations, and we also had some media coverage that I think it's also important. We want that the people know what we are doing. So we have an interview on the 22nd of April for the Day of the Earth Day, and also thanks to Leon, we have 2 very nice articles in the Guidebook Journal, that is by far the most important journal here on the area, explaining about the project. And also there, I brought one of them. There is one of the tables, so you can just check what was published. Because this is not online if you are not subscribed to the Guidebook Journal. So fortunately, I have one of them, so I bring just that you can check it. Okay, and that's for now. We leave you there. So the idea is that I will pass the microphone to Marianne to explain about an activity that we will do now. And I invite you that you also you can check. Now I think you understand a little better what is in each of these sites. Thank you.
There, thank you, Camille. We're a little bit off schedule, not bad. But what we're going to do right now is before you get coffee or tea up there and a muffin, I want you to know that there's some pens on the table and there's some sticky notes. And so what we'd like to do is during this next few minutes, while you're getting coffee and tea and meeting your muffin, and getting settled back in, we're going to take a very brief break on this, is take a piece of paper, one of the sticky notes, and just write down, because we're really interested in you and your opinion and what you think and why you're here. So what is it that brought you here? What was the curiosity? Do you have any goals? Are you going to get involved? Do you think that we would make a good partner for another organization? How do we build our community together? Those thoughts and feelings, and just leave them stuck to the table so that later on we can and do a mix and mingle and people can look at other people's thoughts and feelings on this. I know I was pretty broad about that, but I just want you to be able to make a remark, give an impression about why you're here, what calls you to be interested in healthy coastlines. Now, for the people online, and I'll talk directly to you right now, if you could put that in the chat, then that can be shared too. So we'll just take a few minutes, help yourself to tea and coffee, and there's a muffin, and yeah, and then we'll get back quite as quick as we can so we can bring ourselves back on schedule. Oh, and the washrooms again are over there if you need them.
I'll be back. I'll be back. I mean, Yeah.
Your attention, please. Can we get seated again? And I have to look at the agenda. Oh, right there. And oh, so yes, if you can get seated and we can have about 5 people or 6 people at a table and you know, and we want 4 tables. So I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And we have our citizen scientists are going to be our leaders at the table today. And so this is an opportunity for you to talk to them about their experience. And so I'll get them to introduce themselves to you at the table once you're all seated. Like I say, if we can have about 5 people per table, and I'm sure you know you can begin by introducing yourselves to each other and where you're from and who your family is. But then the people who have this great, wonderful experience as citizen scientists now, the people with the expertise, can explain what their experience is, and you can ask them any of the questions that you are, you know, any of the questions that you have about this project that they can answer. And so you have actually like about a half an hour. Yep, about a half an hour. Hi, folks. I'm going to grab a chair and join you, and I'm going to grab some earbuds so that I can really hear what you're saying. Okay. Now, can people hear me?
Yes, no problem.
Oh, that's so much better. Yeah. What I'm realizing is my battery is deleting itself, and because I'm not plugged in, better do something about that later. Anyway, so my tea. I didn't get my tea. Just a second. There, I get to spend some quality time just focusing on you now, and that's really great. And so, as I chew on this muffin, maybe you haven't had a chance to really introduce yourselves to each other yet, have you?
No.
And if you could turn Susan, Frida, and Marie, if you could turn your video on if you can, and your turn your audio on so that you could talk. There. Can you turn your audio on, Marie? She's there yet. Are you there, Marie? Okay, well, I'm going to get you to introduce yourselves to each other. And I'll start at the top of my screen. Alan.
Yes, I'm a member of Christ Church in Dartmouth, and also the Ecology Action concerned about climate change. That's one of my worst sort of biggest subjects that I want to pursue, and I'm doing anything possible to stop. But the damage is already done. Not much we can do. We could stop burning coal, so we could stop the sale of any more cars that burn gasoline.
Chopping down forests.
Stop chopping down forests. Yeah, that's the most important thing of all. And plant more trees. I just arranged to have 3 trees planted on property. It was quite difficult. I had to get permission from all kinds of people.
Okay, thank you, Alan. And Ron, you're next on my screen.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm a prof in industrial engineering at Dalhousie. Been living in Halifax since '94, so I'm pretty familiar with the area. And I collaborate with Camilo on a few projects. So he's taken the lead on this one. But as you heard, and we'll talk about more later, this is going to also morph into a longer term project with Dalhousie that I'll be more directly involved with. And I'm more into marine analysis and risk analysis, not as much coastal, but I'm very passionate about climate change issues. It really needs, as we all know, a very collective approach to things, and too many people are not about a collective approach. They're about do your own thing, and we really need to all agree on solutions to reducing the pollution and trying to adapt things and get on with it. I mean, there's things happening, but there's not enough yet. So this project is a great addition for this area of the province. Thanks for supporting it.
Thank you. Thank you. And Susan?
Hi, I'm Susan, and well, I oops, I can't see, but I was rector in a couple of parishes, including where Camilo lives, actually. But Marilyn was the one to sort of talk it up for me, so I understood what we were getting into. And, I was very excited. Marie finds it very interesting, and I'm delighted that she does because I do too. And so I'm relieved to know that there are that it's not over, and so I trust that that the response will continue and deepen in this neck of the woods. And I should say that one of the great discoveries was that Camilo is our neighbor over in Dover. So that's terrific. And my it feels just right to be engaging communities at things that really are shared. We all are living in this place, and how are we living, and how is the place doing? So I'm really grateful, and I also welcome today the chance to encounter people I've known for a long time, one way or another. So thanks very much. And onward. Yeah.
And Frida, who's coming from the Solomon Islands. Could you tell people a little bit more about yourself?
Thank you. Can you hear me from that side?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm Frida from Solomon. I work with the Anglican Church Melanesia here in Honiara in coordinating the ACOM Environment Observatory Project. This is a community-based initiative that works closely with local communities, schools, and rural-based institutions here in the country that mainly focus on the conducting participatory training for the religious communities, schools, and rural-based institutions here in the country to conduct local monitoring of environmental change in the country. And I must say that this is the project is quite interesting, which we work closely with the community, schools, and rural-based institutions here, and helping the communities to understand the impacts caused by climate change in the country, and that has been basically that focus on caring for creation. And we are created by God, and we are also called to be the good stewards of creation too. And as climate change is one of the greatest problem affecting countries, affecting Solomon Islands too. Thank you for the presentation by Camila. Today, I really appreciate it, and it's very motivating me because it's also relating to what I actually doing here in the Solomon. Thank you very much. Apology, you haven't seen me on the screen because we still dark here and the light is not very clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Marie, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Marie? You're muted. So if you could take yourself off of mute. Don't know what's happening there. Can you hear me, Marie? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I will explain that I know most of the people here. This is the first time I met Frida. Actually, I met her last night when I got in from a dinner. Frida had gone online because I never got around. Too many things to do, not enough time to do them. And it's why I apologize again, Frida, for not having responded about the time change or the time difference. And, you know, like I said, it's 15 hours difference. So anyway, she took a long shot and got on 10 a.m. Her time. And so that gave me an opportunity to meet her last night. And it gave me an opportunity to figure out or pushed me at what time she needed to join us. So it's 1 a.m. Like, I don't know how you're still awake, to tell you the truth, but I think you need kudos for that. Alan I've known because is a member of Christ Church, and he's been very involved in various aspects of the environment. And you know, I would call him a fairly active person in the environment for the diocese. Susan also. Susan was my Old Testament instructor when I was a student at the Atlantic School of Theology, and taught me a few courses very directly related to the environment. And so grew my passion, my understanding of the role of the church in caring for the planet, caring for creation, as we say. But I really would like to go back to you, Frida, if you don't mind, because you're the expert, much more than me. But I will ask you, how many years have you been at this now?
Thank you, Mary. Actually, it's around about 5 years from now, working with the Church of Melanesia. And yeah, and we actually consist of 11 weather stations in the country, which as I have been mentioned earlier, which we involve religious communities that includes Sisters Melanesias and communities of the friars and Melanesian brothers, as well as schools and local institutions, as well as the local lake communities that have been involved in the project that we're coordinating here in the Solomon. And yeah.
And I met, I didn't meet you, but I saw the presentation on the project in Melanesia. About not 2 or 3 months after we started our project here. And I was just shocked at the fact that there was another one like it. But then Camilo introduced us to the Argentinians. And although our project is so related because it's directly, it's managed by the church, and it shows again how important the church considers science in our ways of dealing with climate change. But then we met the Argentinians, who were also incredibly helpful. So here, all of a sudden, a local project, you know, based in Sheet Harbor, Nova Scotia, has relationships with other projects around in 2 different parts, in South America and in is it East Asia or West Asia? But Southern Asia. And so, but Frida, one of my questions to you is, you know, what have some of the challenges been? What have some of the challenges been?
Thank you. One of the challenges, I mean, in the project, working in the project, we have faced lots of challenges in terms of working with the communities. People have some commitments, and not only commitments, and the project site also made some disruption that caused by disaster, and especially on sea level rise and coastal erosion, especially as well as damaging of the equipments, especially on on the seashore. For the first time, we have the beach profile measurement that includes we put poles on the shore to monitor the tide level, but due to changes in disaster disruption cost that has been damaged the pole that we used to monitor the tide level. So we just leave out. So we make some changes to the beach profile measurement, and then we only focus on the shoreline change positioning that includes the vegetation line and the base of the beach, as well as ongoing measurement of the temperature and rainfall. And not only that, we also face challenge in terms of equipments, because we did not have it locally here in the Solomon. We depend on the Anglican on the England MMUK mission to fund the equipment for us for the observatory site. And not only that, and also working with the local communities, they have some expectations from the project, and but the project is still is just an ongoing monitoring, and it does not have enough fund for to help the communities, because the community have some expectation in terms of what the project can help the communities, and because people have some expectations in terms of what could the project provide for them, especially on those areas that has been affected by sea level rise, and especially those communities that do not have access to freshwater ecosystem. And yeah, so these are the challenges that we face throughout the project. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. It doesn't sound terribly different than here in many ways, but I imagine that there are probably greater challenges, each one of those. Because, well, to begin with, you just a whole series of islands. And so at least we have a mainline coast, a coast on the mainland. But I want to actually say, Susan, Alan, Ron, or Anne Marie, if you get a chance to unmute yourself, what would you like to ask Frida about her experience?
You asking me about the experience. Okay, thank you. In my experience working with the communities, working in the project is quite interesting, which give me the confidence and knowledge and skills on how to work with the community and communicate with communities. Is not easy, but it's very helpful when working with local communities in the country and other different organizations when communicating with them. And as experience, climate change is one of the greatest problem that has been affecting the local communities here in the Solomon, and especially in the most remote areas, vulnerable areas that has been prone to disasters, natural disasters. Not only climate change itself, but also relating to gender violence issue and things that has been affecting local communities here in the Solomon. Also, relocation is one of the problem that has been facing Solomon Islands in terms of climate change, because lots of people, especially those who have been living in the atoll islands, they want to relocate in the mainland in a safe ground level, but due to lack of funding to purchase the land for their relocation site, is one of the problem that church is also facing as experience in this work. Yeah, thank you.
Other questions? Oh, Ron.
Hello. Thanks for that nice overview. I have a question. Maybe you said it and I missed it, but is your work mostly to work with the communities so they can come up with their own solutions, or to just help understand their situations, so you have more information to report to other authorities, or is it to work with higher levels of government to help implement plans or something like that?
Thank you. I believe the work is also really helpful for the community in terms of people have the idea when they see actual changes that happens in their community. They have the mentality of removing themselves into the mainland by negotiating with the communities to acquire a piece of land for their living. So in one way or the other, that the project is also helping them understand what its climate change is all about, and they have the idea of, the mentality of observing the changes. They have the knowledge of removing themselves into the mainland and negotiating with their neighbors to acquire piece of land, because they actually see the actual changes happening in their communities. Not only that, and also is closely relating to the project, is also connecting with the Solomon Islands Ministry of Climate Change and Environment Meteorology in the Solomon. We are also working closely with them. Yeah, the government ministry here in the Solomon. Not only that, in the church we also have some other project that relating to this project, especially the disaster, that provide evacuation program and disaster preparedness plan for the communities that has been affected by natural disaster. Thank you very much.
Other thoughts, comments? Okay. So one of the other things that we haven't brought up is the fact that you were working by distance with a researcher from Bristol University, I think it was, University of Bristol in England, who was a part-time student, a doctoral student, and a part-time employee with the Church of England, working on environmental issues within the church. And so how was that experience for you, Frida?
Come again, please.
How was the experience working with Marie in England?
Thank you very much. Working with Maria is quite very interesting with the University of Southampton in England.
Oh, Southampton. Sorry, I got the wrong university.
Southampton, yeah. And we are closely working together because she is also doing the same program in England, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite interesting, and we also do some awareness here in the country last year in the month of April. It's quite interesting because she also learn about the citizen science, the different experiences here in the Solomon as compared to different experience in England as well. And Solomon Islands is a small country while comparing to other places throughout the world. So working with Mara is quite interesting because we learn to connect with each other in terms of different skills and knowledge about creating the data and do some analysis together within the project. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Yes, I think it sounded from her perspective as though it was a really good partnership. I think you made a good
Yeah.
team. And so, it makes me wonder how we might continue to build a relationship with your project, because I think that, you're ahead of us. You have experience. And I think some of the challenges can be probably similar. We've and it's not that there haven't been good parts too. I think that the accomplishments we've been able to achieve have been as good or greater than any of the challenges we've experienced. Would you agree to that? Agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I will be very supportive and agree to that. And
Yeah.
I will be happy to work to connect with you.
Mhm. Yeah. So Ron, do you see any kind of a particular role, like having been kind of on the fringes of this, um, how we can have a relationship that will be mutually beneficial?
Yeah, so given all these pieces of data collection, which, that might be different processes or possibilities in Solomon Islands, so that's something maybe Camilo can continue to discuss whether more data collection is helpful of any kind. And possible, well, Camilo's not up to there yet, but possible strategies for adaptation, of which there are many plans for that around the world. The one that I will be involved with Camilo and this a couple other professors is, as he said, is about risk governance. And that sounds in a way very theoretical, but and it can be, but what it comes down to is who's got influence or power to do what, who's got different objectives, the government, the local government, the people that live there, and then how do things get moved into a better state? Like, we just heard an example where people feel they have to move to a safer area and they've got to find access to land. So that's somebody who maybe has some influence with others about how they improve the situation. But we're trying to look broadly, which will be maybe somewhat different, of course, in Nova Scotia than Solomon Islands, is how do these principles get applied to go from everybody understands a bit better, we've got a bit more information, we know what the needs are, but how does it get from A to B? And it's never simple. It's a kind of planning, right? Risk governance is just planning. The difference is that the word risk is because there's huge uncertainties over many parts of it. And how do you deal with that? So I think when we work on that work in the next 3 years, we'll see if Frida's interested, how that might apply in her region, if it's useful, or how we might apply it to the Argentinian profs or whatever. So that's one way to help think about getting from where we are now moving forward with some new options. Yeah.
Um, Anybody else with a comment or question or thought? Because
Thank you very.
when you're talking, Ron, I'm thinking to myself, back to some of the challenges, because of course, being involved with managing this project, the challenges are the things that, are the forefront. They're the things that you're thinking about first. And we've been really blessed with the engagement with the local parish. And that's been one of the real strengths of the project. One of the other strengths is although we were really behind at the beginning, there was a situation beyond our control, shall I say, behind community engagement communications at the beginning. We really ended up being able to catch up on that. And of course, the experience of people, the building the relationships, those are the my areas of expertise. I mean, I understand the science. It's not I've taken courses at an undergrad, but and so I do understand the terminology. I understand what's being said. My focus as a parish priest and a former community development worker has been, that kind of of work and how that fits within the needs of the project so that we can actually accomplish the data collection. But it's not as simple as that too, because we also want to increase the education, skills, and commitment of the community and build those relationships with the community that will allow us to do that. And so it seems to, if I had to do it over again, I would say that we would have started off on a better foot around communication and community engagement. We did catch up, we landed on our feet, and at the end, I must proudly say that, you know, we did land on our feet, and now we're seeing the fruits of that labor. And so, you know, getting the technology, getting the funding was, you know, a little complex because we've had 5 different funders and small groups. And Frida, I gather that you've had one funder, and that's the Church of England. But yeah, 5 different funders. I don't know whether I'd recommend that one again. that makes for a bookkeeping challenge, and to say the least, and trying to prevent burnout with the person who manages the books is just a challenge in itself. But yeah, so and it's identifying, you know, because unless you can really be good about your community engagement, then you can't get the citizen scientists on board. You can't find the people who are the most likely to be engaged. And so this requires a whole lot of technical skill around, you know, coastal monitoring and understanding the science of it, the healthy, you know, the nuts and bolts of a healthy coastline, and how you either achieve it or assess it for it, you know, its ability to become healthy. But it's also like the other side of that is hugely about relationships, understanding behavior and how people are, like Frida, you talked about it at one point. You talked about, you know, the interest of people, how they have to fit that into their daily lives. And that's a really common that's been a common theme that's been running through us. We have to make sure that we understand that these are citizen scientists. We can't think of them like we would think of students, for example. They're not people that are going to earn a mark so you can tell them whatever you want to tell them to do and they'll do it, or hopefully, if they want the mark. But you'll also get a commitment from them because you've touched on their passions. You've been flexible enough to adjust to their needs. You've been able to, you know, turn on a dime to see, you know, to run into a difficulty that's just organizational behavior, and then turn it into an advantage. And so this is my experience, you know, from my end of it. These are the things that I've found that are really important, and they tap into my passion for community development. So, and my passion for the environment. So, and without actually being able to understand what Camilo, like when Camilo and I met with Marie in England, who is, you know, who did her doctorate on this subject, on the same type of project, I could watch them instantly starting to speak the language, and because they both have science backgrounds, but I could follow it pretty easy. So if I didn't have any kind of a science background, then that would have made it a lot more difficult, and it would have reduced my ability to be able to appreciate it. Just a second. I think I hear a timer.
We do hear a timer. Did you want me to answer?
We're not going to go through it as groups. We're not going to report back. We're just going to have people mix and mingle.
Okay, perfect.
I didn't even see that one.
No, hi. We were code for an interview.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry,
I'm also organizing this event, so you don't get my yeah. You've had to, sorry, thank you for your patience.
Do you want the code just for the?
Do I want what?
Yeah, code, password.
What about it?
password for the internet.
What about it?
What is it?
Oh, what is it? It was Sheet Harbor, and there's a number. Sandy knows. Where is he?
BOR or OUR?
Oh, you are. Sheet Harbor, what was it, 56 or something? It's the branch number.
Oh, right, it was.
Yeah, if you can find the branch number.
Right,
Branch 56.
right, yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
There. Had to get the passcode. Okay, so I'm gonna get everybody to return to their positions or something like that. I'll be directing people in a minute. Let me put it that way. And so here comes Camilo, and we're going to shut it. We're gonna shut this part down. So if you'll just kindly be patient again and put yourselves, you're all on mute pretty well anyway. Frida, you can put yourself on mute, and then we're going to I'll give the instructions. Okay?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So you want to do Hi, can I have your attention again? I'm gonna lose and drop this mic. Yes, so if I can have your attention again, that's great. So how was it? Good stuff. Good. I hope that you enjoyed it. I did the same thing basically with the online people, and in our roundtable we had Frida, who is the expert, Frida from the Solomon Islands, because of the fact that they underwent this project, and then I was able to throw a few of my thoughts about my experience from the relationship, the community development, the missional part. So I've really enjoyed the conversation we had. Now, all we really want you to do is take a few minutes now. You still got some time to move around and be alert and keep you alert. But if you go to the other tables, because people have posted their sticky notes on their tables, and you could just meander around the tables and be nosy and take a look at what other people have said and see if that fits some of your thoughts, some of your intentions, how you feel about the project and why you're here. So so just take 5 minutes or so and travel around and take a look. Okay.
What time do you want lunch?
Oh, well, 5. It'll be after. And then we're going to. You're dangerous.
No, actually, the guy played the. Yeah.
Okay, go again. I didn't break it yet, Sandy.
It'll go down.
Yeah. It's just that but when Mike gets up, he needs it higher.
Let him operate it too.
Oh, like like in context. Yeah. Oh, yeah, remind me. Okay. All right. And so now we're talking about the overview of the future of the project. The Citizen Science Eastern Shore Coastal Community Network, Camilo. There. So yes, we're going to, this is been one of the questions. Okay, so we've done this. What do we do next? And that's where Camilo comes in. Now I need to make sure that my people can see that.
Well, as we told you before, today is a very particular day because we are finishing something and starting something at the same time. It's some kind of overlapping. We are very happy that we managed to do it. It was not easy. This November for Mike, Marianne, and me have been very interesting month. Try to finish the project, but not with the idea, especially how to communicate the idea that we are finishing something that we continue. So this is exactly what I want to show you now, with very briefly, because we only have the plans and how we will do it. But from now on, I need to do that. I won't do a Superman because later I will need to put the button again. So I will do that. But the idea is that from now on we have the Citizen Science Coastal Monitoring Network of the Eastern Shore. This is exactly what we want to have, and we already started with that. So which is the idea? First, that there's language, I think, is very important. So we need to pay attention about language. So first, citizen science. This idea goes from bottom up, always. This is the idea. This is the most important. I'm very clear about that. Everything, especially the data that we collect, are from and to the community and to the people. If someday somebody needs the data, maybe we can say, okay, what is the use that you want to do with this data? We can discuss, etc. But the data is not the idea that the people will be collecting data, gathering the data, and other people will be using. So the first thing is that it's a citizen science network. Okay, coastal monitoring, because we are focused on the coast. There are the rivers, the lakes, there are many deep other environments, but no, we will be focused only on the coast, and I think it's enough. I'm also a professor in a school of law in Colombia. I'm still a professor there, I'm working remotely, yes. When I was studying here, the legislation here in Canada, in Nova Scotia, I discovered that there is an Ocean Act, there is a Land Act, and even it's a Beach Act, but the Beach Act is not really about the beach. It's about the property on the beach at the end. But who is monitoring the coast? It was my first question when I came here in August to start as a visiting scholar in Dalhousie. Was no coastal monitoring. There was no coastal monitoring at all, at least at the province, at least that I was able to have access to this data. But if we don't have these eyes observing the coast, how can we make good decisions? So this is the idea that we are coastal monitoring. And will be a network because we'll be climate science team. And this is the most important part from the methodological point of view, is that we have teams. Of course, Stuart, we have been many times on the beach. We have done a lot of things, but I think it's not just Stuart. It's a Stuart with Anne, with Leon, and hopefully in the future 2 or 3 more people that they will be acting as a team. Because just 1 month ago, Stuart and Anne, they were not here in Nova Scotia, but Leon was here. So this is what is important to have teams. So there will be a network, and we hope that will be teams with the Anglican Church, of course, but also with the Lions Club. We have some conversation with Brian. Now I'm part of the Lions Club in Council. So the idea that we have coastal climate teams there, with the fire departments. So we have many different teams with many different institutes. With the dinner project, we have to have a team there also. So the idea is that we are inviting all the organizations that they want to be a team. We just have a conversation with the Taylor's Head, the Friends of Taylor Head Society. I think this will be our next team. I'm 90% sure that will be our next climate coastal team. So this is what happening in the future from now on. And of course, we'll be on the Eastern Shore. I have a conversation with Nicholas and say, I'm interested, at least in the next 3 years, to be focused from the McNabb's Island to Council Causeway. I can travel around and do tourism in other places, but I will be working on the Eastern Shore, focused here. There are some information there that you can check later. I think the important is this network established to monitor and document the coastal change along Nova Scotia and Eastern Shore. First thing, document. We need data if we want to make decisions. Engage communities in scientific research, because the communities, and I'm also a citizen scientist. I'm living here in Dover. I'm already living in Council, living in Dover. And I have my weather station and my rain gauge. And every morning I go there and observe the precipitation. So the idea is that we engage the community in the scientific research, because there are all of us in the community, we have a lot of information, very, very valuable information. But we are not recording this information in a scientific way so that we can use it, with confidence. So this is the idea, to engage the community in the scientific perspective. I think the most important for me, empower local communities in risk governance, because our project now is more focused on the risk governance perspective. Governance, there are 2 perspectives, the top-down and the bottom-up. Top-down is the government say, you need to do, you must do something, and you must do something. The bottom-up is that you say, I would like to do something, and the government say, okay, let's do that. This is the difference between top-down and bottom-up. Normally, we have the history say that normally everything goes top-down. But now in the 21st century, with all the devices that we are connected, now we have the technology to do a real bottom-up. To have a real, I would say democracy, but I don't say even just democracy. It is too narrow to think just in democracy. I would like to say to live connected and to make decisions from bottom up. And this is the idea, but we need to be empowered to do that. Create a long-term data set for understanding climate change impacts, because at DCA, we focus on climate change. But we need to have longer data sets, and supports evidence-based coastal management decision. So the next decision that will be done by the municipality, by the province, but anyone, by the fire department chief, they have a huge responsibility. But would be great they have more information so they can make better decisions, because they have all the desire to do the best. But if you have data, you have information, it will be easier to do that. Oh, too fast. I know that we are. And this second stage that will be led by Dalhousie, that we want to engage new coastal climate teams, as I already said. This is one of our goals. Training of these coastal climate teams. So this is the process of how it works. The Friends of Taylor Head Society, they want to be a climate team. Okay, great. What happened? First, we have a meeting in which I will explain which is the project, which are the parameters, etc. Later, we will start to do the training. Initially, yes, will be in an indoor. Will be great to do it in winter, early spring. And later we will go to the late spring, beginning of the summer, we'll go to the beach. We know how to do the things. And from this moment, this climate team will be created and we start to do the monitoring. For the next year at least, we as Dalhousie, we will analyze this data. So it means that we will collect all this data in a data hub, and we will analyze. But the idea is to create some kind of report. First, a local report. So in Moosehead Beach, Stuart, he could know what is happening in the beach. But we want to have also sub-regional reports, like what's happening in Chill Harbor, for example, and a regional report, what's happening on the Eastern Shore. So we will have all this data and we just do some science, and to analyze with statistics and to have some patterns and to prepare the report. But again, I think this is very important to say that you will give us the data and we will give you back the reports with this data. And of course, to supporting local and provincial risk governance, because top-down is, bottom-up is important, but top-down already exists and will exist. It's not that we will replace bottom-up, top-down with the bottom-up. No, they will need to work together. Well, it's like a book. So the idea is that we are also working with the EMO. There is one in Halifax and one in Guidebook because it's a municipal level. So we want next year working with these two EMOs and to the fire departments because they are the first responders. And now we are working to the design for indicators related with risk governance. This is more the scientific stuff, but just that you know that we will be working to have some indicators in a way that we can measure the performance of the risk governance with indicators, with numbers. How we will do that? Okay, we are working on that. This is research. The nice part about research that you don't know what how it will be because you need to study that. But this is very important because at the end, the goal of the project is that here on the Eastern Shore, we will be really, really better prepared for any kind of climate-related event. The idea is that in 2 or 3 years, if we have a new hurricane with any name that will be here, we will know from the when the hurricane is in Florida, and we will be really prepared and we will know what to do because we will be improving the risk knowledge, the risk prevention, the emergency response, and the coordination. These are the 4 indicators. So this is what will be happening in the future. And also, we will have the idea that we increase the number of parameters because there are another important parameters. For example, waves. There are very simple way to measure waves. The people that they sailors, they know the Beaufort scale. Just see and you say that from Beaufort 3 or 4 according to the height of the wave. But just an observation. But nowadays, in the big carriers, these ships, they're using the Beaufort scale. So this is something. Also, the currents, the beach leader, because they give us a lot of information, and we want to increase the fauna. Next year, I will invite you. I want to do it here in Chill Harbor. We have 2 presentations with a project also in Dalhousie that is working with eelgrass. They have a citizen size project. And we will do, I think, one here and another maybe in Guidebook. But if you like kayaking, you could be part of this project, and because these 2 projects will be connected. So this is the kind of thing that we want to do it. And that's all. If you have any question, there are frequently asked questions. So that you know how much time you need to expand on that, which kind of training you need to have. Everything online. So if you have any question now or you want to be there, but this is about the future. So thank you very much for staying here. And I hope you will be here the next 3 years at least. Thank you.
Okay, actually, we get to take another break again, move around. It's 25 after 12. And so you might be a little hungry. So if we take about 25 minutes to help ourselves to some lunch, there's still tea and coffee, water available, and sandwiches and sweets over on the table. So help yourselves. Hi, everybody. I'm going to stop this
Hi.
share now and let you know that, yeah, so you've heard me say that we're going to stop for about 25 minutes for lunch. And then we're going to do the wrap up afterwards. The bishop's going to give some comments. We're going to give some comments. We're going to probably maybe leave room for some comments. And so, yeah, so the plan is to be back for about 10 to 1. And Frida, are you still awake?
Yeah, we still awake. We
You have been wonderful. I gotta say, thank you so much. Okay,
welcome.
so
You
okay,
most welcome.
so I gotta grab something to eat. All right.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I knew how to run the conference. Gotta do that.
I'm gonna interrupt that. Hi, everybody. Actually, there's a thing that we say in the church to get everybody's attention. Bit of laughing. And I just say, the Lord be with you. And you say, there. It just means that I really wish you the best. And you're going to wish it back to me, whether you like it or not. Anyway, and whether you like it or not, we're going to have to reconvene. But it's been wonderful. Like, I love the voices, the chatter that's going on, and the connections people are making. And so, Camilo, I think you are on again. No, you're not. You're done. But there, and I got one of the last brownies. That's important, isn't it? So anyway, if everybody will be seated as soon as they can, one of the things that we really do need to do is make sure that people have some contact information from us if you don't have it. But I can see that you're getting contact information with each other as well. So I'll just wait, and it's okay. You finish what you're doing. How long have we got?
Thank you very much.
Okay, because I'm gonna ask the bishop first to come forward with comments. Yeah, everybody else want to, anybody who has to go right away, all right.
So thank you very much for your welcome here and for being able to share in some of the conversations. I've been in the background for this project, writing letters of support, encouraging the church to see that this was indeed something that connected to what it means to be people of faith, that we care for creation. We kind of have it. It's kind of like that motherhood and apple pie stuff, that it's sort of there. And of course we all subscribe to it. But when it comes to actually putting dollars and time into it, sometimes we're not as good at that. So this has been one of those times when I've been really pleased and proud to be able to encourage the church to put some weight, some interest and some money behind the work that's been happening here. So I'm grateful to have been able to be a part of it, but to see it in action. And I have been following it. And don't worry, Reverend Marion keeps me well informed about what's going on. Her enthusiasm for this has been phenomenal. And I did have a meeting with her and Camilla early on to learn a bit more about the hopes of this project. There were just a couple of points. I mean, I've been listening and taking notes, mostly because I listen best when I write, when I start writing what other people are saying. But I was really struck with a couple of things. One, in listening to people today, I was thinking about this whole sense of reciprocity in a variety of ways. Before I was elected bishop, I attended our local library had what they called a settlers course. So for those of us who are not, I have Indigenous ancestry, but don't kind of self-identify in quite that way, to want to learn more about how we could understand some Indigenous perspectives as a settler, recognizing that there's all kinds of challenges with that. But one of the things I remember was when we had a session talking about the land and the difference between how, we as non-Indigenous folks see the land versus how Indigenous folks do. So we looked at scenarios about it like this situation, how an Indigenous person might respond versus how someone who's non-Indigenous might respond. And it was really eye-opening, I think, for all of us who were gathered there, recognizing that the land is not a commodity, but a land is a home. And the land was not something when people came to this place and there were Indigenous peoples here, that the land wasn't something to be conquered, but something to be shared. And so all of these areas, this understanding of reciprocity is part of the sort of the fabric of this place, whether we know it or not. It was what it was founded on. The original peoples of this land understood that. They understood that the land was alive, that it was something that nurtured us, and that we were also responsible to continue to nurture the land so that it could nurture us. So I think in this project, we're learning a lot about what is damaging that ability of land and the ocean to nurture us, to nurture the life within it. I've heard about that with respect to oyster farming and invasive crabs and all kinds of other things. So to respect that and to do our part to honor that. I thought as well about listening, and I've been listening myself to the Massey lectures that have been taking place. The leader of the person presenting the lecture has been a writer and poet, and he's been talking about conversation, the art of conversation. And I've listened now to the fourth one. I just listened to them on podcast on my way as I'm driving around. But one of the things that struck me, and I knew this, but it struck me again when he was talking about again, the Indigenous knowledge that when missionaries came to these lands, they sat with Indigenous leaders and talked about, about Jesus and the gospel and all that the faith story, all their faith story. They wanted to share that. There was good news and they wanted to share it. But when it came time for the Indigenous people listened intently to those stories and to that faith sharing. But when it was time for the Indigenous people to talk about their experience and their understanding of faith and their spiritual, concepts and perspectives, there wasn't the interest in listening. It was about giving you something that we had that you needed. and not about what we had to learn from you. So the listening was about learning. So, I mean, I think too, there's a need for us in the church, for all of us, to adopt a posture of humility around how we haven't listened and what we haven't heard, because we thought we were the ones that had the things to say that other people needed to hear. So it speaks of a kind of an arrogance that I think has really harmed the witness of what I think Jesus was trying to do with his life and ministry. So I think there's a need for us to listen, to learn from one another, for the church to learn from you who are living in this place and you understand. And I was in Newfoundland when the cod moratorium was announced many years ago. And the people who were fishing at that time would say, we saw what was happening. We tried to tell people, nobody would listen to us. And that had disastrous results. So the listening and the learning. And then my final piece is just to say, this is St. Andrew's Day. And 4 years ago today, I was consecrated bishop in an empty cathedral because we were in severe lockdown at that time in Halifax, at least in the central zone. But the reading for the day was about, that we chose, it was one of the options for the gospel reading. So the reading from the New Testament about the ministry and life of Jesus was about Andrew, who was a fisherman, and had a brother who was a fisherman, Simon, who was then Peter. But what was interesting about that story is that the part of the story that we read at that service where I was made bishop was about the need to feed people. And we talked about that food security, food insecurity, sustainability. This was a time when a large crowd had gathered and they were interested in listening to what Jesus had to say, but there wasn't enough food for them all. And Jesus asked the disciples to go and find food. And they wondered, well, where are we going to find food to feed this many people? There's no way we can have enough. There was enough money to feed all these people. And then Andrew noticed that there was a small boy. And what did he have? He had fish. He had fish and he had bread. So the interesting thing that the person who was preaching at my consecration mentioned that has stayed with me was Andrew knew that little boy was there and that he had something to share because he made himself present to that community, that he was willing to observe, like to see and to listen to things that Brother Mike mentioned earlier. He saw and he heard that someone had something to offer. And that was from somebody who in that time wouldn't have had a voice, wouldn't have had much stature or place in society. But Andrew recognized that this boy had something to share. And then that story goes on to talk about how, that food was shared and all were fed. And we can interpret that in so many different ways. But the ability to pay attention because there are people and voices that we need to listen to. Some are in this room and some are not. So who are the small children among us in the Ocean's 11 class or wherever who might have something to share with us that will nurture us, that will feed us in our quest to feed and care for the earth. So I want to thank you all for the time that I've shared already with you and just look forward to what comes next. I was asking those questions at my table. How do we sustain this? How do we make sure that the good work that's happened here continues? And I know it will. You've got these monitoring places and rain gauges, and so many of you are trained to do this work, and it's so important. But I also wonder how the church can continue to be a partner in this, recognizing that we live and serve among people. We're not just hiding away behind walls in a building. We have to be present where we are. And so how we continue to walk with people, to listen, to learn, and to receive, as well as to share. Those are all things that are important to me. So I just want to thank you for this day and for all that you're continuing to do and all you've done, and for what sounded like a crazy idea when I read on a Zoom call with Camilla and Reverend Mary and some of the others. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank. Oh, yes, yeah.
I just on behalf of myself and Kate, we have to leave, and then maybe a few minutes early, although I know we're close to the end. I just wanted to say something about that. So I'm an Anglican, and my parish priest, Father Jerry Thorne, once said to me about a decade ago when I was struggling trying to raise my teenage son who wouldn't listen. to me. He said, Ian, listening is not about waiting for your chance to speak. And that stuck with me. So Kate and I, we represent the university community, which is, taking, one thing I just want to say that we recognize that our colleague, Camilo, is a real gift. He's not a professor at Dalhousie, but he should be. And, but he's a real gift. So, we're really proud to be able to work with Camilo but also with you. And universities are not known for being listeners to communities. We tend to be filled with people who think they know this, because we're the experts, and so we like to tell people what to do. But I can assure you that this project and this project within the larger project that is Transect is very much trying to explore how it is that we experts in academia can be listeners in the sense that my priest said, not just waiting for a chance to tell you what's what, but actually to listen. So this is an exercise in what we eggheads call transdisciplinary research. That is to say, listening to what communities bring to the table from their local expertise, and what happens when those of us who are experts from the academic side actually listen to that. So this is a very, very exciting project. It's extremely cutting edge, we're really, really quite thrilled. And Kate and I are both so glad that we came today, because we knew we only had a desktop version of this, and now we actually have a real flesh and blood idea of what's going on. So kudos to all of you, and I think we should give a big round of applause to Camilo and his leadership.
And so I get to, this is where I get to say thanks to everybody. And again, thanks to Camilo, thanks to Mike. We met every Thursday morning forever and hammered out any of the issues and tried to listen to each other, I think. And so I think that that's a theme that we should be running with is that. But it's also a time to be grateful, and I'm grateful for the earth and all that is in it, all our relations, as First Nations people say. I'm grateful for all of you who have contributed in so many ways. That includes both you in person and how many of you? 5 of you online. And poor Frida it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and she's still with us. Wow. And she didn't know that I was going to put her on the spot and get her to talk about the experience of being a scientist who's working on a project like this. But anyway, so many people to thank. Thank you, Bishop, for your support. Thanks to all our funders, and that was the Diocese of Nova Scotia BEI, the Dalhousie, the Anglican Foundation, the Provincial Relief and Development Fund, our development and justice organization of the National Church, and the Joan Feynman Climate Change Fund as well. So that was the one secular group that supported us. I need to thank all of the parish of Port Dufferin. And I need to thank those of you up and down the Eastern Shore who have connections, who are starting to get involved, who are already involved. I want to really thank the facilities that have opened their doors to us. The library opened its doors to us for some meetings. Marine Academy opened its doors to us for meetings. And here we are. Thank you to the Legion for a wonderful experience here. Thank you so much. So Sandy is the president of the Legion and the guy who met us and helped us set up. And yeah, and thank you very much. This has been wonderful. Even if they're not here, I'll thank the Marmalade Cafe. They've been feeding us for months. And who did I forget? Anybody? Don't think so. And And, oh, I'll thank my husband for his patience and being our taxi driver.
Listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and it's really been wonderful to see you network amongst yourselves, you know, connect with each other, pardon me, or reconnect. And so I hope you'll stay connected with us. And oh, and I want to thank people like Trish. You didn't get the thanks, because Trish was the person who took the kids, the class on a school trip. And not only got to teach them, but got to listen to them too. And I'll thank Jonathan, who's not here, and I'll thank Aaron, he's gone too, right? And I think I've hit just about everybody. The citizen scientist, I remembered you. So with that, one of the things that I want to do around maintaining contact so that we can keep hearing what you have to say and we can keep in touch is what I'll probably do is we took a attendance here, registration. As if anybody hasn't signed that sheet, it's right over there behind you by the pillar. Please sign it on your way out so I'll know who was here. But also I'll send out a general email with contact information for us. It'll contain the, you know, like the website, our the YouTube channel that some of the learning, the lunch and learns were on, email and phone number. So you can track us down no matter how. And so with that, thank you very much for everything you've done, and thank you for being here today. It was wonderful.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for me too.
Oh yes, the citizen present citizen scientists have to get your shirts before you go. Oh, Bishop Sandra, you get to have one too as part of the team.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
So, hi folks, I'm back. And I just wanted to thank you again for being part of this. And so I'm assuming you can hear me. And so I'll shut down the meeting now, but I'm not going to shut down the contact, okay? We'll still be in contact. Oh, Marie, can you hear me and talk to me now? No, I'm still not getting it. Oh, one new message. Let me see. And thank you. There. Okay, so I'll say goodbye, everybody, and have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.